Tech-9, the rise, reign, and reverberation of a Philly battle rap icon. The voice of the ring, battle rap has long been the rawest form of hip-hop. Stripped of beats, curated hooks, and commercial polish, it's war in its most lyrical form. In that world, Tech-9 stood as one of the most distinctive voices to ever grip the mic, not because he was the most intricate or the most dominant, but because he was entertainment incarnate, a performer's performer, a man who could rock a room with energy, charisma, and conviction. But the story of Tech-9, born Akeem Mickens in Philadelphia, is not one that ends in pure victory. It's a story with incredible highs, of roaring crowds, viral moments, and a reinvention as a respected analyst on Champion. It's also a story with haunting lows, criminal allegations, mental health struggles, and a sudden death that shook the very core of battle rap culture. This essay is not just a celebration, nor just an expose. It is a complete chronicle of a complex figure, a legend, a performer, a friend, a controversial figure, all wrapped in one. This is the life of Tech-9. Roots in the 215 and North Philly beginning. Akeem Mickens was born in the early 1980s in North Philadelphia, a city teeming with both talent and turmoil. Philly has always been a breeding ground for lyrical beasts, home to spitters like Cassidy, Black Thought, Beanie Sigel, Meek Mill, and more. The environment was rugged, the culture was real, and young Akeem absorbed it all. Growing up in Philly wasn't easy. The crack epidemic had left deep scars across communities. Street corners doubled as both classrooms and battlegrounds. But amid all that struggle, hip-hop thrived. Cyphers broke out in parks, tape decks played local legends, and for a kid like Akeem, who had a natural flair for expression, the city was both a proving ground and a stage. He wasn't born into riches or privilege. By all accounts, his upbringing was middle to lower class, punctuated with the same challenges many Philly youths faced: economic hardship, street temptations, and the constant search for identity. But he always stood out for his charisma. Whether in school, on the block, or later on camera, Tech-9 had what few people had naturally: presence. Nicknamed after the semi-automatic weapon for his rapid, jabbing verbal style, and as a nod to his punchline pacing, Tech-9 adopted a moniker that would come to define him. Not to be confused with the Kansas City rapper Tech-N9ne. Akeem's stage name would become well known in the Northeast battle scene. In his teenage years, Tech wasn't yet a battle rapper, not in the professional sense, but he was already known for cutting people up with his words. It started in school hallways and basketball courts. The slick talk, the quick roasts, the way he could control the crowd with jokes, aggression, and punchlines. He didn't just want to win, he wanted people to remember him. By the time he was in his early 20s, Tech-9 had already established a street-level reputation in Philly, but he wanted more. He didn't want to just be a local legend, he wanted his name ringing out in other cities, on other platforms, and the perfect storm was brewing. Discovering the mic, early rhymes, and hunger, in the late 90s and early 2000s, Tech-9's environment was boiling with inspiration. Freestyle ciphers on corners, impromptu battles in barbershops, and neighborhood block parties gave rise to his obsession with the craft. As a teenager, he began crafting his own bars, deeply inspired by Philly legends and his surroundings. The early days of Tech-9's rhyme development weren't about structured punchlines or battle prep. They were about raw expression. He soaked in the knowledge from mixtapes, DVD battles, and the radio shows that pushed underground talent. At the time, his voice was unique, deep, commanding, with comedic timing that made people laugh and fear him at once. He recorded his first tracks in makeshift studios, and while they weren't polished, they carried the same energy he brought to the streets. People began talking about him, and in a city like Philly, word of mouth is everything. The grind DVDs, streets, and cosign. Tech-9's come up paralleled the rise of street DVDs like Headshot and Too Raw for the Streets, which captured the raw essence of Philly hip-hop. These DVDs became his launching pad. With a signature cadence and confrontational style, Tech-9 quickly made himself a standout figure in these grimy low-budget tapes. Cosigns from local legends like Reed Dallas, Kaboom, and Holloman gave him credibility. His battles weren't just about rhyme schemes, they were full performances. People started saying, Tech Nine is different. He had character, unpredictability, and a mastery of controlling a room. In a sea of hungry MCs, he carved out a niche as a battle rapper who didn't need the best bars because he had the best delivery. Enter the Lion's Den, Fight Club, and early battles. Tech Nine's first taste of broader exposure came through Fight Club and early battle platforms that linked Philly with New York. These battles weren't just about rhymes, they were tests of survival. And Tech Nine brought something new to the table. Unlike the ultra-lyrical cats who dissected opponents with complex schemes, Tech Nine took a more theatrical route. He used sarcasm, mockery, pauses, and energy to throw opponents off. He could make the crowd laugh, then stun them with sudden aggression. Even when he lost, and he did lose some early battles, the talk was always about Tech's performance. He became a name that mattered, even when his bars didn't win on paper. That's when people started respecting him as more than just a puncher. He was an entertainer. King of the Dot and the URL boom. As battle rap evolved, so did Tech Nine. He joined URL Ultimate Rap League, which would become the most prestigious battle platform in the world. His URL debut against Midwest Miles set the tone. Tech wasn't trying to outbar you, he was going to outclass you with energy. From 2010 onward, URL grew fast. Names like Hitman, Holla, iVerb, and DNA were ascending. But Tech carved a lane all his own. His battles with Rich Dollar, X Factor, and Bill Collector cemented him as must-watch content, even in an era where pen-heavy lyricists dominated. Fans loved Tech's old-school presence, Philly grit, and calculated pacing. He made every pause feel like a punch. The performance factor, entertainer versus lyricist. By the mid-2010s, debates were rampant. Was Tech Nine really one of the best, or just the most entertaining? Tech embraced the question. He proudly labeled himself a performer, someone who cared about asterisk, crowd control, moments, and delivery asterisk, more than rhyme density. His detractors called him outdated. His supporters called him timeless. He even addressed this in battles. They say, I don't got bars. Well, I got something y'all love. And it was true. Fans didn't come to see Tech Nine for triple entendres. They came for performance art in the rawest form. He became a prototype for a different kind of battle. MC, not the punchline king, but the showman. Tech Nine versus the Titans. Notable battles and rivalries. Tech Nine's career had several marquee matchups that defined his legacy. Tech Nine versus Bill Collector was a Philly showdown. High energy, unpredictable, and full of tension. Tech Nine versus Rich Dollar had him dancing circles around his opponent with charisma and jokes. Tech Nine versus Midwest Miles was an introduction to URL's national stage. While his win-loss record was debated, what wasn't debatable was this. Tech Nine made battles fun. In a world where many took themselves too seriously, Tech reminded us that battle rap was still entertainment. A voice behind the mic, champion with Jay Black. After his peak battling years, Tech Nine transitioned into commentary with Jay Black on Champion, a YouTube-based battle rap analysis show. There, he found a second career. Tech brought the same charisma to the analyst chair as he did the battle stage. He'd break down battles, crack jokes, hype up matchups, and sometimes even troll opponents. Fans loved him. Some newer battle fans didn't even know him as a battler, only as a commentator. This phase redefined his image. He became a bridge between the old school and the new. His chemistry with Jay Black was unmatched, and their influence on the culture was undeniable. The Philly movement, cosigns, legends, and love. Tech Nine always repped Philly. Even as he aged, he mentored younger spitters and remained tapped into the local scene. He co-signed names like Sue Surf, New Jersey, Twerk, and E-Ness, and stayed active in the conversation. His ties to Philly greats, from Reed Dollaz to Cassidy, kept him relevant. He wasn't just a battler or a commentator. He was a cultural figure in the Philly hip-hop tapestry. Controversy and arrest, the fall begins. In early 2019, devastating news emerged. Tech Nine had been arrested on multiple charges related to child pornography and inappropriate contact with a minor. The allegations shocked the battle rap world. Court documents later confirmed the nature of the charges, and as Tech prepared for a court date in March 2019, many in the community began to distance themselves. Some hoped it wasn't true. Others were vocal about their disgust. For a figure so beloved, the fall was fast and harsh. His image changed overnight. Death and speculation. The tragic end. Just days before his court appearance, on March 24, 2019, Tech-9 died in his sleep. At first, many believed it was natural causes. Then came the coroner's report, a suicide by overdose. The timing days before facing serious charges raised many questions. To some, it was an escape. To others, a sign of guilt. To others still, a tragic collapse of a man under pressure. Regardless of how people interpreted it, the truth was simple. Tech-9 was gone, and the culture was rattled. Reactions from the culture: shock, pain, and division. The battle rap world split in the wake of Tech-9's death. Some mourned him as a legend. Many posted tributes, shared memories, and honored his contributions. Others, however, couldn't separate the man from the charges. To them, celebrating Tech felt wrong. There were arguments online, blogs, videos, interviews. His name became radioactive, a symbol of both love and betrayal. Champion paused, content. J Black went quiet. The pain was palpable. Legacy in question: greatness versus ghosts. Tech-9's legacy is one of the most complicated in hip-hop history. On one hand, a pioneer, a showman, an icon. On the other, a man accused of unforgivable crimes. Some fans still revisit his battles with joy. Others have deleted his name from their minds. The duality is permanent. He was great. He was flawed. He was unforgettable for all the right and wrong reasons. Art, morality, and the battle rap culture. Tech-9's story forces us to ask deeper questions. Can we separate art from the artist? What happens when a legend is accused of something heinous? Does entertainment erase pain? The battle rap world is often seen as lawless, but this moment forced a reckoning. Morality clashed with memory. Fans had to confront the gray areas. There are no easy answers, only complexity. Conclusion: remembering Tech-9, a complicated icon. Tech-9 gave his life to the culture, but he was passionate. He made us laugh, made us think, made us feel. His ending was tragic. His contributions were real. And his story, however it's told, will always be part of battle rap history. He was the showman, the voice, the character, the contradiction. This was Tech-9.